Hare Krishna. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Make Japa Great Again. The 11 habits of respect. To quickly rise from the offensive stage to the clearing stage, and Prabhupada describes 3 stages which are called the offensive stage, the clearing stage, and the pure stage of chanting. And another way of looking at those stages, those 3 stages, are the medicinal stage, when you have to take something as medicine to overcome a disease. And then there's the nourishing stage where you realize that it's sustaining you. To nourish means to sustain. And then there's the relishing stage. So in the beginning, if you get a prescription, you have to take it like medicine. To develop an ideal attitude for chanting, one must adopt the following 11 habits of respect. The essence of these principles is to take one's chanting seriously, to perform it attentively, and finally to remember why one is doing it. Respect usually means to look at something carefully and then to give due regard to something or someone. To ensure that we give due regard to our japa, or more accurately, the object of our meditation while chanting japa, Krishna, there are 11 habits that we can memorize and make part of our lives. They're summarized in the following affirmations. 1. I respect all living beings as they are part of Krishna. I especially honor and therefore never criticize Krishna's devotees, knowing that they are especially dear to him. 2. I respect devatas, powerful controllers of the material world, like Shiva and Brahma, as well as other powerful beings, knowing that they are not only parts of Krishna, but that they are also controlled by and empowered by him. I never consider, however, any powerful being to be equal to Krishna, for Krishna is the source of everyone's power. 3. I respect and carefully follow the orders of my spiritual master, knowing that my spiritual master strictly follows the process of devotional service and backs up whatever he says with scriptural evidence, and that he is therefore not an ordinary person, but is my direct link to Krishna and his divine representative. 4. I respect all scripture that presents God as the supreme being. 5. I respect the holy names of Krishna as non-different from him, and therefore consider whatever praise is given to the Lord's names as true and accurate. 6. I respect the glories and definitions of the holy name given by the great teachers of bhakti as sufficient explanations, and that I therefore need not speculate further about their meaning. 7. I respect the principle that I am a servant of God and his holy names, and that my chanting of his holy names must be done in a mood of service. I never consider chanting the holy name as a means for me to counteract my deliberate misbehavior, done with the intent of clearing the reactions to those transgressions. 8. I respect Krishna's holy names and accept that chanting the Mahamantra is transcendental and superior to all other scriptural injunctions, prescribed duties, or sacrifices meant to live prosperously in the material world. 9. I respect the principle given in the Srimad Bhagavatam that it's best for me to avoid speaking about the glories of the holy name to those who are envious of God and who don't want to hear them. 10. I respect the principle that material desires for wantonly gratifying my material senses, are beneath my dignity as a spiritual being. I understand that my spiritual desire to serve Krishna is transcendental and beneficial, and that my desires for my own satisfaction, divorced from my connection with Krishna's service, are detrimental to me. And 11. I respect the principle that I am fully responsible for where I direct my attention at any given moment, and that giving my full attention to the Mahamantra while I'm chanting my rounds is essential to improving my chanting and eventually coming to the pure stage of chanting. reflections? Like, where do you think those came from?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I think that I liked the 10th principle, specifically the words, material desires are beneath my dignity as a spiritual soul. I think it's a refutation of the 10th offense, or like the positive light, which is not a complete faith in the chanting of the holy names and to maintain material attachments, even having understood so many instructions on the matter. So we have to understand that material attachments are harmful and not our natural state. But I think the word beneath our dignity is very nice because it emphasizes the fact that these material attachments are in fact disgusting and they're not natural for a spiritual being. So when we understand it, at least on a theoretical platform, that we're the spirit soul and not the body, then naturally we should at least also understand that we should get rid of the material desires that are not natural for our spiritual soul.
Thank you, Ram Shorji. Yes, Prabhu?
Sachinandan Maharaj was giving a Bhagavatam class in Vrindavan, and he was talking about the verse Yat Krishna Nama Charitadi Sitapya Vidya Pito Patapta Nasya Narochikanu Kintwadarat Anudinam Kalasaiva Jushta Swadvi Kramat Bhavati Tadgadamula Hantri. And he was saying that the formula to chanting perfectly is Adarat and Anudinam. And if we're initiated, we're already doing Anudinam. We're chanting every single day. But Adarat, Prabhupada translates as carefully. But the real the technical definition is affectionate respect. And I was thinking about that through the 11 principles of respect. We are able to achieve that as well. We're able to give that affectionate respect to the holy name. And by doing both of these things, we will be able to chant the best rounds and the best japa.
Nice points. I wrote this because I'm writing a book about japa, and it's for people who haven't chanted japa yet or just starting, and it's following a principle of SOPE, simple, optimistic, personal, and encouraging. So trying to the 10 offenses can seem for a complete beginner a little daunting, like, oh my God, I'm already making offenses, and turning it into the 10 or 11 principles of respect. So that was the idea behind that. It's just looking at the flip side of it, it's as we discussed yesterday, is there a proactive way to avoid the 10 offenses? And indeed there is. It's to have respect for the various elements that we already talked about. How was yesterday? I felt like when we crossed over the river, it was going into a different realm. It's like time travel. You go across the river and all of a sudden you're in a new century. Shall we try? Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta. Hare Krishna. Here's the third quote. I told you there's 4 altogether. This one's entitled, Everything Will Be Revealed One After Another. Prabhupada writes to Jagadisa on 27th February 1970. When we chant, we must concentrate our mind on the sound vibration, and in that way everything will be revealed one after another. The form, the qualities, pastimes, etc. of the Lord. And this is the way of cultivating spiritual realization. Want to hear it again? When we chant, we must concentrate our mind on the sound vibration, and in that way everything will be revealed one after another. The form, the qualities, pastimes, etc. of the Lord. And this is the way of cultivating spiritual realization. You want to hear it one more time? When we chant, we must concentrate our mind on the sound vibration, and in that way everything will be revealed one after another. The form, the qualities, pastimes, etc. of the Lord, and this is the way of cultivating spiritual realization. If you were going to say what the way of cultivating spiritual realization is, what would you say?
So the question is, how we cultivate spiritual realizations?
What is the way of cultivating spiritual realization?
By meditating on the sound vibration of chanting, and that way everything gets revealed, the form, the qualities, and the pastimes of the Lord.
Profound, huh? What is the way of cultivating spiritual realization?
By meditating on the sound vibration that you observe while chanting the holy name, and that way everything is revealed, which is the form and qualities and pastimes of Krishna.
What do you think?
That's very... I observed it while I was chanting today. I don't know about the form and qualities, but definitely the pastime. I was just reliving one particular pastime of...
Who made the outfit?
Sukeshri has a friend in Kolkata who made a few of his outfits. Mayapur was a gift from Sukeshri.
It's pretty cute. Okay, here it is one more time. When we chant, we must concentrate our mind on the sound vibration, and that way everything will be revealed one after another, the form, qualities, pastimes, etc. of the Lord, and this is the way of cultivating spiritual realization. Yes?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I had a question on that quote. It mentions everything will be revealed to us one after another, and then it says forms, qualities, pastimes, etc. Does that imply there's an ordering in which it'll come one by one, or is there anything like that?
There's a verse from the chapter we're memorizing in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is which chapter? Just check and see if you're memorizing it or not. Oh no, that's not it. Sorry. It's from 1.5. About 47. It says Prahlad Maharaj, or Narada Muni rather. And he says, he indicates, it took me to the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, sorry. Yes, he talks about the order in which things are revealed. That's because there is no 47, sorry. He says about his own progress at 1.5, at 1.539. O Brahmana, thus by the Supreme Lord Krishna I was endowed first with the transcendental knowledge of the Lord, as inculcated in the confidential parts of the Vedas, then with the spiritual opulences, and then with his intimate loving service. There is some sense of one after the other, although it's not completely stereotyped, because the Lord can choose to reveal himself in any way he wishes. But what I find very useful about this quote from Prabhupada is that we don't have to do anything else when we're chanting except for chant and listen, because everything will be revealed one after another. And those types of quotes really help me, because the mind always wants to take a walk somewhere and go see something else, addicted to distraction. Isn't there anything else besides this? But then the direction comes that there is nothing else besides this. Everything's in it. So if one can be aware of that fact that everything's within the holy name, and everything that you're looking for, dear mind, will be revealed one after another, then it makes a worthy challenge to stick with the stick with listening to the vibration itself. Any last thoughts? Famous last thoughts.
Just the last point you mentioned about how everything's in the holy name, it reminded me of the last verse of the 8th chapter that we've been reading every day in the English. I just remember it saying that by like the practice of devotional service, we attain everything that you can get from like being a Gyan Yogi, Karma Yogi, like all that stuff. We attain it just by through the process of devotion. So I just...
Don't you love those win-wins like that? Because so much in life, there's so many conundrums about choose this and you're going to lose half of that. Choose that and you get this, but you lose 2 other things. But Krishna is so opulent that it just says, if you just choose me, then you can have everything. And you're not going to lose anything else. If you take some other path, then you only get partial. And everything's there within the holy name. It's all compact. Nice and neat. Let's try again. We still have time, right? Oh, okay, sorry. One of these days, we'll go for a short japa walk. What do you think? Yeah. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Harinam Prabhu, if you so desire, please help us to be convinced about the power of the holy name, and that just by chanting and hearing the holy name, everything will be revealed one after another. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Everyone agrees with this prayer, in whole or in part. Please say Hare Krishna. Panchakalpatarishya, Kripasandabevacha, Patitanam Bhavanibhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnaveshki Jai.